following is an update and technical analysis on FLYWire Corporation, a company of the technology sector and information technology services here off the daily interval, where I had mentioned in my previous video on the 27th of 2023, trading spot price $29.71, where I had issued the alert sell signal and concluded the analysis here on the daily interval, explicitly articulating my preference for an orchestrated snapback counter-trend rally, seamlessly converging upon the primary uptrend line, where I had asserted would serve as a opportunity to augment one's existing short position, or additionally serve as an objective entry point for an initiating a short position, where I had underscored the utmost importance of the price support at the $29.70 handle, which would more than likely attribute to a confluence of stop orders, forced liquidations, and an influx of bullish traders, long traders in congregating in unison, eagerly positioning themselves at the complete all-out rush towards the emergency exit doors. And lo and behold, a massive rush for the exits ended up ensuing right to the bottom of that straight line down crash. And thus far, the entire trade was good for a 9.6% crash, and really to the button. Well, I'll zoom in here. We had a 4 days in a row of back testing, and talk about a perfectly measured back test and retest of these key inflection points. And it was nothing but volatility on the way down there. Whereas we completely undercut the gap of that volume at price indicator, completely broke down below the 50-day moving average. And here's some key targets, close enough for covering some profits there down to that 28.06. But these are your next key levels that must hold. And I do favor additional selling down to 28.06, especially if you're an active and or leveraged trader. I had mentioned that it would be a very swift move to the downside for a snapping of that key inflection point. And just that in itself was good for a 4.5% drop there. And now we assess conflicting damage amongst multiple technical momentum indicators here in the moving average, convergence, and oscillator, where they're already breaking down below their zero line thresholds, with much larger oscillator histogram red candle closes below their zero line thresholds as well. And again, just would put further damage here when we zoom out to the week, back to the weekly interval, where the 50 exponential moving average is sitting just right below that 27.70 price support, whereas we have on the daily interval just slightly below that. So if we take out that level, we could potentially have a little bit of a breakdown move below, slightly below that 28.06 price support, and then maybe a retest for bull traders and or long traders, a step in for a counter trend rally, where I could favor a potential false breakdown bear trap in some shorts there, where you have bull traders and or long traders vigorously defend that 50 weekly exponential moving average for a much larger bounce move to this renewed what I have now a primary reactionary high downtrend line off the mid-June highs there. Just a multitude of reactionary highs to now help strengthen the validity of this primary reactionary high downtrend line. And that was just something that I could favor seeing in the near term there. So we'll see what happens. But again, I still favor a much larger move, potentially down to 26.62, but it could take weeks and or months on end to get back down there to that extreme pivot point, with close to a double-digit profit move there. Zooming back out to the weekly interval, we do now have confirmed crossovers here on the moving average, convergence, and oscillator, whereas we're starting to damage the weekly interval technical momentum indicators and a potential prolonged move to the downside.